Hey everybody, this is Scott, your guide at Next Ridgeline, where we help Green Berets and other warriors transition to civil society. And I want to thank you for dialing in to another one of our video episodes oriented on transition. We have three pillars in transition. We have redirection of passion and purpose, we have resilience, and we have reintegration. And today we're going to be talking about resilience, and there is nobody better to have that conversation than my good friend Tim Dixon. Tim and I have been working together for several months now. Former professional athlete, performance coach, leadership coach, and has run a lot of miles in this world. And so I've asked him to come on with us today and talk to us about the elements of resilience as it pertains to athletes, tactical athletes, and veterans coming into the civilian world. So Tim, first of all, thanks for joining us.
Scott, it's a pleasure to be here, man. I'm excited.
Awesome. So I gave a little bit of an intro there.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your backstory and then kind of how you came into the performance world.
I was an athlete. I played at Cal State Fullerton, won a national championship there in 1995. I played professional baseball for 6 years with the Expos, Brewers, and Red Sox, and then I coached for 13 years at the college level. My last four was at the United States Air Force Academy, where I had the honor and privilege to work not only athletic side, but character and leadership. So I worked as a certified character coach and a SPE, which is a Squadron Professional Ethics Advisor. It's kind of long. But it was such an amazing experience for me, because not only did I have an opportunity to influence these young men and women who are going to be future officers in the Air Force, but it really allowed me to be a part of something so much bigger than myself. And
Right.
It was probably the best professional experience of my life.
Yeah, awesome. So, all right, well, with that in mind, tell us a little bit about you and I have talked a lot about this, but what is your personal philosophy on performance? I mean, how do you look at it along the lines of kind of mind, body, spirit? How do you approach it?
Gosh, I mean, for us as athletes, I mean, we're wired for movement and excellence in all we do. And I know that's kind of a thrown out word that we
Right.
use, excellence and all, but what does that really mean? And I think athletes and I think tactical officers and I think those people really understand, because we don't do anything at 50%. It's
Right.
100%. We just give everything that we have. So it's important that we go internal. We talked about this a little bit earlier before. To go internal and to, as we're giving all of ourselves, we need to make sure that we're prepared for that, mentally, physically, emotionally. And so when I work with athletes, and as an athlete, just 5 minutes of breath, or just those little things that allow us to connect with who we are and to check in on ourselves to see how we're doing.
Yeah, no, that's good. One of the things that we've also talked about is, in transition, our guys, they're extremely busy. I mean, they are deployed or getting ready to deploy every second of the day, multiple deployments, and really, even with transition in the front sight post, as we say, they're going to run all the way up until the finish line. They're not going to have a lot of time, and so they make that transition, and it's really rapid. You went through that as a professional athlete. What was that like, and what are some of the things you would suggest to our guys to be thinking about to kind of be on guard against that?
Yeah, I mean, just talking about that, I get the chills, and it's tough. It's hard what we do as athletes or as soldiers that are all of a sudden getting the quote-unquote civilian world, because our expression of who we are, whatever we do, whether it's athletes, whether it's just that performance part, we have to find a way to channel it. And my biggest struggle for me was taking that competitiveness, that the desire to beat people, win, and kind of how do I put that into society? How do I put that into a job? And that's why I got into coaching. Same philosophy, same tactics, same approach, but we just got to shift the mind. Instead of, a mission that you're gonna, and again, I'm not a soldier, I'm not a military guy, so if I get this verbiage wrong, forgive me. But if you have a mission and you have certain tactics that you got to follow, you're precise, you're detailed, you lock it in.
Right.
You do the same thing,
Yeah.
but you just shift it as opposed to what you're doing. And so a lot of times we think we have to change on who we are to be able to fit in.
Right.
I am a firm believer that don't fit in, stay true to who you are, and just find ways to tweak that energy and express that energy in a positive way with whatever you're going to do.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because one of the things that I think our guys, and myself included, could do more of is taking the time, like you said, to get a little bit introspective. And before you jump into transition and you start running that path to get a new job or whatever, is do some work to actually ask yourself, what was it that brought me in as a Green Beret in the first place?
Yeah.
What was it I loved about that? What was it that I loved on my best day and my worst day? Because those are the ingredients that really need to inform your transition, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. As an athlete, when I started, I knew I wanted to coach.
Yeah.
But now I'm not coaching anymore. So it's another transition that happened last year. So I'm asking myself, what am I passionate about? And for me, it's helping others.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I help others? I can help others in athletics with the mental game.
Right.
I can help business people as far as performance, because we're performers. We're elite performance. That's who we are. We're wired for that. So what CEO or president or corporation wouldn't want to perform better?
Yeah.
And to take something as detailed, as specific as a Green Beret.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that? But we have this disconnect from the outside world as the civilian world, where we think that we're just so far apart.
Yeah.
But if you actually sit down and you have a conversation with one of these CEOs or presidents, they're wired the same way. Now, they've been domesticated a little bit.
Right.
But when they're around that, like when I'm around you, or I'm around the cadets or future officers or current officers, you get that energy and you want to be around that. And whether you believe in war or not, people respect who you are. So there's so much value. There's so much value in what these men and women are going to do as they transition back into the civilian world.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of assets in there, and figuring out what they are. You're also an entrepreneur. I mean, you understand that world too. And a lot of our guys are good entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
I mean, they really want to start their own business and things like that. What are some things you would suggest to the guys to think about as they, maybe some perspective on the civilian world, the business world, the entrepreneurial world? Your top three.
Well, I also, as a civilian, the civilian's kind of a cutthroat place too.
Yeah.
It's not this. I mean, our society is just we accept mediocrity. Yeah. Which is why I struggle with society, and why you probably struggle with society, and why probably these people who are listening to this video are saying, how am I going to function in this world of mediocrity? Because that's not who we are, and we don't like it, and we can't handle it.
Right.
So we don't worry about those people.
Yeah.
So, what really helped me when it's my own business and stuff like that was not worrying so much about what I didn't have as opposed to what I do have. What are my strengths? And the best way to create any business is find someone's problem and solve it.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. What do I currently struggle with? How have I solved it, and how can I relate that to other people? Because they'll pay you any amount of money for you to solve their problems. So top three would be stay true to who you are.
Yeah.
That for me, that's the biggest one, is don't think you have to change to conform to society.
Right.
That's the biggest mistake.
Yeah.
And then number two is to find problems, solve problems.
Yeah.
And then number three is just take action.
Yeah.
A lot of people have all these great ideas, but they never put them into action because it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Perfection doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But I was haunted by perfection for several years.
Right.
And I realized that perfection doesn't exist. However, the pursuit of perfection is required to be great. And you know exactly what that is. And these people know exactly what that is.
Right.
Because when they do something, they commit 100% to it. And that is so needed in our society today. And it's about exposing yourself and say, here's who I am.
Okay.
Like it, don't like it, this is me, and I'm telling you, people are going to flock to these people.
Yeah.
I get around these people, and when my business grows, that's the first people I'm looking for.
Right.
So
you and I met through the Bo Eason storytelling stuff,
Yeah.
and we both understand the significance of story. Briefly give us your take on the importance of our guys being able to know their story and tell their story as they go into the civilian world as part of resilience.
I have such a soft spot for our military. I never was active military. I was fortunate enough to work at the Air Force Academy with future officers, and there's something different about them in a good way.
Yeah.
They're genuine. They're heartfelt. They're warriors. But I really, really think, what was the question again? I got sidetracked.
Well, no, it's all right. It's the importance of story.
It's everything, and here's the example when I work with the clients that I work with. If anytime someone watches a reunion of a family, a military family, who is not emotional, I just got chills thinking about it, instant connection.
Yeah.
So tell that story of the first time you saw your daughter or your son, the story that you told me yesterday about your son when you were retiring.
Yeah.
It as a parent, it sends shivers down your spine. We're real, and to be able to tell your story and to be able to tell your struggles and how you got through those struggles, people, not only are they going to listen, not only are they going to respect it, but they're going to pay you any amount of money if you could help them, because they have the same problems. And sometimes people transition in different ways.
Yeah.
Whether it's, I'm now a single parent,
Right.
it's a transition. I'm now changing jobs, it's a transition. So we're not all different. As most think, it's such this huge difference, but we are very, very similar. If we express who we are, and if we tell our stories, there's going to be that connection, because we all have these issues.
Yeah, no, it's spot on.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up here, Tim, you know, you specialize in so many things: leadership and storytelling,
Yeah.
and resilience. And what did we miss today? What would you leave our folks with as they, you know, these are guys who are looking at transition right now. Maybe some of them already have transitioned, and they're just trying to get their head around what that next ridgeline looks like for them. What did we miss today, and what would you like to leave our viewers with?
Gosh, I want to thank you for letting me be a part of this. And from the very first time I met you, I think I said, I want to be a part of it, or before we even started this thing. And it's so important that you understand that you're needed, that you're important, that this transition, it's scary, there's stress involved, but it's a moment of growth too. It's being able to give what you've already given, but in a different way. So it is a transition, yes, but it's not as big a transition as you might think it is.
Right.
And to go in it being a little bit vulnerable, and to go in it without ego, and to go in it with, here's who I am, and now I'm going to, most importantly, I cut myself off, is to surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
Because if you surround yourself with people who's like, oh, what are you going to do next? Oh, how are you going to do this? And they're stressed, and no.
Yeah.
You got to surround yourself with people who understand you.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have everyone around you. You have to have the right people around
spot
you.
on.
Right. So, and when you do that, talk about it.
Yeah.
If you're having stress, talk about it. For me, one of the best things is journaling.
Yeah.
Because if we bottle up our emotions and our thoughts and our anxiety and our stress, we just explode.
Yeah.
So find an outlet, whether it's a friend, whether it's me.
Yeah.
I mean, my email, info@thementallocker.com. I will do anything I can to help anyone out. Even if it's just vent. I got good ears, man. I'm a good listener. But express yourself and don't bottle things up, and go into it knowing that you have already made a difference.
Right.
And you're just going to continue to do great things for our country, your business, your environment, your family, and you're just wearing a different uniform.
Yeah, no, that's the great way to end it, Tim. And, you know, talking about surrounding yourself with the right people, that's really what we're doing at Next Ridgeline. We call it keeping the light on in the team room.
It's awesome.
But bringing in a new team, teammates like yourself who have run these miles, maybe in a different line of work, but who can help our guys reduce that learning curve.
Well, the conversation you and I had is, and I was thinking about this morning, is as an athlete,
Yeah.
or as a soldier, I mean, it's go, 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 go. And then when you get around society, which is just enough,
Yeah.
you know, you're like, what the, and you're like, I'm not doing that. And you don't have to do that.
Right.
You just got to find the right people to
find
run
the right
with.
teammates.
You got to find the right people to run with.
Yeah, that's spot on.
And I'm ready to run.
All right.
So.
All right. Well, thanks, Tim.
My
Listen,
pleasure.
I tell you, really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us about this.
Anytime.
And we'll bring you back on again.
Yeah.
And to all of you watching, really appreciate you taking the time. Appreciate what you're doing. I honor you for thinking about transition now. You know, if I had one thing that I could do differently in my retirement, I would have thought about this stuff earlier. Because the earlier you're thinking about it, the more prepared you are. And that's exactly what we're here to do. So thanks again to Tim Dixon. Thanks to you for watching. And this is Scott, man, your guide at Next Ridgeline, and we'll see you next time.